following is a presentation of 4-Star Sports Media.
Hey fans, did you know that 4-Star Sports Media now has a YouTube channel? You can catch exclusive content covering all things Memphis Tigers and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Shows like The Point, and the only show on social media about the Arkansas Razorbacks that is purely fan-driven, Inside the Hog Pen. Plus other shows like The Hog Trough, the 4-Star Sports Show, and many more coming soon. So check them out today. Go on youtube.com and search 4-Star Sports Media. Welcome to the 4-Star Sports Media College Football Pick'em Show. Now, live from the BA Mask Studios, here is your host, from The Point, Wes Pruitt.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to Season 2 of 4-Star Sports Media LLC's College Pick'em. I am Wes Pruitt from The Point. I got Razorback Zach in the house with me tonight from Inside the Hog Pen, who had a great opening season episode last night. Man, Zach, I got to tell you, man, college football season is a month away, and I am excited, my friend.
Man, I tell you what, I'm having a little bit too much fun with all these bells and whistles that MC turned me loose with. But no, yeah, dude, college football is just a couple of weeks away. In fact, kicking off as we speak is the NFL Hall of Fame game. And, man, it's finally, when we come back and we start doing our new shows, that means football is just around the corner, if not already here. So it's an exciting time. I'm excited. I know you're excited, dude. And, man, I'll tell you, it's one of the best times of the year right here.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. I tell you what, Zach, 2021 was a wild football season when you really sit back and think about what
was it?
The offseason from last season to this season has been wild as well. Zach, let's talk a little bit about 2021. Just a quick recap for those of you that lived under a rock this football season. Georgia won the national championship. Just like you remember. We college playoffs that first time ever. We had a group of 5 team in it. That was the University of Cincinnati, team that Arkansas fans better get used to hearing because they got a tough one week 1. Zach, what was your take on the college football playoff last year?
Well, I tell you, I'm okay with guys like Cincinnati, and I believe it was Notre Dame that was in it as well. It was Notre Dame. Who was it? It was Notre Dame, Georgia, Bama, and Cincinnati, wasn't it? I think we lost Wes. There he is.
No, you're good, man. I'm here.
So I'm okay with, but at the same time, I mean, Cincinnati got thumped by Alabama, and then Notre Dame got thumped by Georgia. So
you mean Michigan,
not Notre Dame. I'm thinking 2 years ago. Sorry, my bad. Michigan, Cincinnati, Alabama, Georgia. Man, I said it early in the year last year. Georgia was going to win it all. I said it very early in the season that Georgia was going to win it all. So, not very surprised by the outcome, to be honest with you. In fact, I'm glad that it was still the SEC that won it, but I'm also glad that it wasn't Alabama. But I want to turn the tables, and I want to ask you a question, Wes.
Sure,
Nick Saban was asked. Nick Saban came out it was about a day or two ago, and he said, "Oh, last year was a building year." Look, this son of a says it's a freaking rebuilding year. Let's run this down, shall we? Let's run this back for a minute. He wins 13 games. He wins the conference, and he's in the college football playoff, and he's in the national title game. I'm sorry. Doesn't sound like a down year to me. And let's just throw in let's throw in the freaking Heisman. Yeah, let's throw in the freaking Heisman. Oh, it's a down year. Down year my backside.
Let me. We'll get to this here in a second. But since you got me on this warpath, we're going to start off the rails because that's how I guess we're going to start this year. It's all good. Can I just run the Alabama schedule real quick? Non-conference, please. This won't take but just a second. They start off with Utah State. Then they go to Texas. That's an game. Come home and play Louisiana Monroe. And then they play Austin Peay November 19th. Now, look, I did not realize that the SEC stood for Schedule Every Cupcake. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Only for Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Only for Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That's it.
Samuel Jones is exactly right.
That's my dude right there. That's my new dude.
If Williams does not get hurt in that game, Alabama wins that game easily. Mm-hmm. He is 110% correct. 110% correct. But, Zach, talk about the 2021 season. Talk a little bit about Georgia here in a little bit through the DC. Give me your surprise team from 2021 or teams if you have two, and then I'll give you mine.
So I've actually got two. And by the way, Wes, on a programming note, technical note, your audio is really, really bad, by the way. But
yeah, it's jumpy.
Yeah, it's jumpy. But my surprise team, I'm going to go with two, and one of them is probably going to get a lot of hate mail from. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Cincinnati would be my team number one. That was a surprising team. They're not really known for, and I mean, you could pick any one of them. Georgia, heck, but Cincinnati would probably be my team because they're a group. They're not a Power Five, or at least they weren't. They're about to be when they join the Big 12. But can you really consider Big 12 a Power 5 conference now? I mean, them in the Pac-12.
Yes, I mean, still do.
But and the other one, and I'm going to be honest with you, the other one I'm going to pick, and let me explain why I'm picking them for my surprise team, is the University of Arkansas. And let me explain to you why. Because for the first time in program history, we went 3-0 in trophy games. We beat the number 15 team in Texas at home. And then we win the Outback Bowl against Penn State. Okay. Those were staple wins that nobody – look, Sam Pittman said it best. Going into that season, they were underdogs in 15 out of 16 games. They were never picked as a favorite in any of the SEC games that they've had under Sam Pittman, and they still haven't been. So, yeah, I'm going to say that my two surprise teams is Cincinnati, one, because a group of 5 team made the college football playoff, and that proves that, yes, expansion needs to be looked at, but it doesn't need to be a hasty decision. Number 2, the Arkansas Razorbacks, simply because I myself didn't think they would go 3-0 and knock off Texas and win the Outback Bowl all at the same time. I mean, it's a big year for Sam Pittman and the Razorbacks. And the cool thing about – I say cool thing, but the best thing about this is that Arkansas and Cincinnati face each other in week 1, September the 3rd, in Razorback Stadium. So you get to see if Cincinnati still has it. If that makes sense. I mean, Luke Fickell's going to have this team ready to play, and it's going to be a good game.
I mean, first time in either program history that they've matched up with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're exactly right. Luke Fickell's going to have that football team playing some really, really, really good football. My surprise team from 2021 was South Carolina. Went 7-6, won the Mayo Bowl 38-21 over North Carolina. And the reason I say that is this: like, you bring a brand new head coach in Shane Beamer. Your team went 2-8 2020, 4-8 in 2019. And I mean, they were just 7-6 in 2018. So I mean, when you look, I mean, then you turn it right back around, 7-6. Then you bring in a guy like Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma. In 3 years of Oklahoma, 17 starts, 3,000 yards, and only had 12 interceptions and 40 touchdowns. And the other thing that I think is going to really do something for this team, and I think South Carolina is going to be another surprise team this year. They improved their. Dang, that man said, "Damn, that's bad." Damn, that's bad.
Damn it, Sam! Damn it, man!
That's funny, man. That's funny.
Dude. Hey Wes. He got MC good last night. I don't know if you saw it, but he got MC good last night. We were sitting there talking, and he put on. He typed in and chimed in, and he said, Arkansas can't overlook anybody because we lost more directions than Garmin." And I told him and MC that there's a blank space behind me, if you can see it. And I'm going to put a poster up. And every time somebody says something like that, I'm going to put that on the list on the wall behind me.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And I mean, I apologize. I'm getting the Wi-Fi situation taken care of. It should be fixed by tonight. But Zach, when you look at South Carolina, like I said, man, big time surprise. Shane Beamer, I'm a big fan of his as well. I think South Carolina is a team to look out for. They improved their special teams from 109th in the country to number 18. And I think that is a part of their game that I think is really going to bode well for them in 2022. And I also think Spencer Rattler, now he came out earlier this week, Zach, I don't know if you saw this. He said, SEC defenses aren't quite what they're cracked up to be. Now, he is going against the South Carolina defense, so that may have something to do with that. He's not going against an Arkansas or an Alabama or a Georgia, especially for that matter. But, Zach, when you look at South Carolina, man, I think they're going to be a fun team to watch again this year. Zach, 2021 disappointing team.
Well, let me touch on something with Spencer Rattler in South Carolina real quick.
Go ahead.
So, Spencer Rattler last year, before he transferred to South Carolina, he comes out and he's the Heisman favorite. He is the starter at Oklahoma. And then all of a sudden, this dude chokes. And I mean, just completely falls apart during the Red River rivalry. He gets pulled, and a true freshman, I think he's a true freshman, he might be a redshirt freshman. Anyway, a freshman takes his spot. So he tucks his tail between his legs and he says, "I'm not playing for OU anymore. I'm going to South Carolina." The situation wasn't conducive because everybody knew Lincoln Riley was going to leave and Oklahoma was falling apart. So he goes to South Carolina. So here's where we get to see the true Spencer Rattler. So my question is here's where do we see if South Carolina is that good where they can build off of that 7-4 record? Because let's face it, dude, Shane Beamer, he's going to have to do something pretty soon. Otherwise, they're going to turn on him like they turned on Muschamp.
I mean, man, okay, go ahead.
Or a Spencer Rattler, just not that as good as people think.
A lot of people are not sold on Spencer Rattler, and I get it. I understand the optics of it. But I don't know. I mean, I just feel like when you go and watch that guy on film, like, the talent is there. He's just got to get it between the ears, and I understand that's not easy to do, and it's not something you can just do. I get that. That's a great comment right there. Rattler underperformed against Big 12 defenses with literally our cone drills. He's pretty accurate on that. I just feel like Spencer Rattler is, when he gets to the SEC, I think he's going to understand his level of play has got to step up, and I think he's going to. I'm really excited to watch this young man play at South Carolina. I really, really am.
Well, but at the same time, Wes, you have to remember too, South Carolina's not really a contender in the East right now. They're really not. I mean, they're not a bottom feeder like Missouri. They're not a bottom feeder like Vanderbilt. They're just not. They're not on Georgia or Florida's level. Now they'll come in every now and then and they'll win a game that they're not supposed to win, like the Arkansas from the early 2000s. They'll win games they're not supposed to win, and they'll lose the games they're supposed to win.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they do it every year. I mean, that's kind of what they do, man. I mean, if you go back and look at last year, I mean, don't forget they only beat Vanderbilt by 1 point. If you remember correctly, Vanderbilt had that game won.
And that's my point is if you struggle to beat a Vanderbilt team, a Vanderbilt football team, come on now. Why would you transfer? Why would a Heisman frontrunner? This is what I want to know: is why would a Heisman frontrunner, supposed frontrunner in Spencer Rattler, who was this highly touted recruit, who was highly touted as the quarterback of Oklahoma, why would he go to a mid-level team like South Carolina that struggled to win against a Vanderbilt team that had zero talent? Because let's face it, Vanderbilt's a basketball and a baseball school.
Yeah, but then you turn around and you look, and they beat Florida 40-17. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they beat Auburn 21-17.
Don't talk to me about Auburn. I'm still pissed off about that.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, you know what I mean? It's they lose a close one to Kentucky. I mean, you know, it's the next team I'm getting ready to talk about is, I mean, even more crazy with their schedule last year. Who was your disappointing team from last season?
Man, that's a tough one. You know, I don't know, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one for a minute.
Yeah, so mine is hold on, what did he say? Beamer Jr.
So Sam Jones chimes in and he says, Beamer Jr. gives me Chad Morris vibes with the rah-rah stuff. USC becomes a darling overnight for doing absolutely nothing. Their big wins came against teams with huge issues on the downslope. I mean, that sums it up right there.
Beamer's a lot better coach than Morris. He just is. I mean, he won 7 games. Morris couldn't do that in his lifetime.
Morris could look, dude. Hey, look. We're gonna come full circle with this thing.
I'm not trying to go off on Chad Morris.
Morris struggled. Look, I'm just gonna say this right here. Morris struggled to win the damn coin toss.
Yeah, you're right. So speaking of teams that struggled, Nebraska Cornhuskers. Okay.
Yes, that's my disappointing team. Oh my God.
So, but here's the thing, Zach. They finished 3-9 last year. But
woohoo! 3-9. Whoopee!
But here's the thing, and that was in Scott Frost's 4th year there. But every loss besides one to Ohio State, 26-17, came by less than 8 points. All 9 losses. What's disappointing is that the University of Nebraska doesn't know how they haven't established a winning culture again.
Okay, but at the same time, why is that? That's the $1 million question.
Now,
that's the $1 million question, though.
I agree, but then you've got so speaking of Nebraska, you've got Adrian Rogers transfers. Adrian Martinez transfers transfers out. He's now in Little Manhattan playing for Kansas State. And then you've got Caleb Williams from USC comes into Nebraska. I'm sorry, Caleb Williams from Texas comes in to Nebraska. So my question is this: do you see over under for Nebraska, Zach? What do you say with Morris? I wanted to.
Sam comes in and says, "With Morris, I worried when I saw Bai as our opponent. I knew we weren't going to quote put our head down and go to work." Yeah. Look, I mean, I see where Sam's coming from because Beamer is similar to Morris in the cliches and the Twitter videos on social media. It's almost as bad as Brian Kelly down at LSU twerking on a dude. So, I mean, let's just call a spade there. But circling back to Nebraska, back, how could you forget about that and the fake accent?
I was just saying. Yeah.
Anyway, we're
His
going
family.
off on side.
Don't play. He got family down there.
Look, don't even. All right, don't. Just no. See, look, you got no.
That's doing it again.
No. Anyway, we're going off the rails here to kick the season off.
Sound like Rain Man. Kmart. Gotta have Kmart.
Oh man, no. Yeah, circling back,
everyone watching right now, listening. Thank you very much for watching, listening. We appreciate your support. Here at 4-Star Sports Media. Yeah, he's right. He's 100% right. But thank you everybody watching and listening right now. Spotify, TuneIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere we are. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Zach.
And we apologize for Wes's audio. We will get that fixed before the next show. And I know it's rough to listen to him. Trust me, I have rough to work with the man. It's rough listening to him. I'm kidding, Wes. I'm kidding.
You're good, man.
But no, circling back around to Scott Frost in Nebraska, you could say that the culture there is not winning so much as it is frosty. My attempt at bad puns, but no, I mean you have to. It starts at the top. But seriously, I mean
that's a real knee slapper.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna. No, I mean, look, I'm gonna use the University of Arkansas as an example. Okay, and so 4 years ago, you had Jeff Long as our athletic director, and he goes out. Well, let me put it this way. He gets fired. Julie Cromer-Peoples comes in, fires Brett Bielema, and then turns around and hires Chad Morris. And then you go through all of that. And then you have a complete regime change. You fire Chad Morris. You hire Hunter Yurachek. You completely wipe out the football staff. You hire Eric Musselman. You fire Mike Anderson. You hire Eric Musselman. You hire Mike Neighbors. You hire freaking Shazbot. Jordan Weber. Okay? So you have a complete regime change. You hire Sam Pittman as the football team. Now, we're going to circle in on the football team for right now. Okay? 4-20 over the course. Yeah, Courtney Deifel softball, but that was a couple of years before Yurachek. But here's the deal, okay? Pittman comes in, Yurachek comes in, changes the culture, and you see it on the field. It translates from in the locker room to the weight room to on the field.
Almost immediately.
And you see that. Immediately. Immediately, they go 3-9 in the hardest division, in the hardest conference in the country. And you see the progression every year. 3-9, 9-3. This year, we talked about it last night. This year, you go up a little bit more, okay? At Nebraska, they don't have that. They don't. I'm sorry, but if I'm a booster, if I'm a donor to the University of Nebraska, and the best they can do with the talent they've got is 3-9, I'd be pulling my money right now.
They went. Oh, here's the thing. Since 2017, they've gone 4-8, 5-7, 3-5, 3-9.
See, if you can't get above 500, how do you still have a job? How do you still have a job? Sam Jones chimes in and says Nebraska is no longer a relevant program and never will be again. What recruit wants to move from Miami-Dade to Nebraska? Cornhusker program is shut. Oh my God. Oh, Sam, dude, you are one of them.
I mean,
and then of course, Bear Down Services is in the house. What's up, Justin? And a big shout out to Bear Down Services LLC.
Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir. Big shout out to those guys. Need anything done in the Central Arkansas area? Reach out to Justin Ashmore and the Bear Down Services crew. They will get you taken care of.
So I got a text from one of our from the Nige in Memphis, and he says, "Hey, what do you guys know about the competition? Like, are Auburn going to crash in Auburn this season, or what?" That is fantastic.
We'll get to Auburn. That is
great. That's going on the wall. But I'm still saying that losing to more directions than Garmin's going at the very top of that list.
That's funny. Let's take a break real quick. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about some hot stories in the offseason.
You would throw me for a loop.
A little bit about and a little bit about the coaching carousel that took place during that off here on the Star Sports Radio Network.
Hey fans, did you know that 4-Star Sports Media now has a YouTube channel? You can catch exclusive content covering all things Memphis Tigers and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Shows like The Point, and the only show on social media about the Arkansas Razorbacks that is purely fan-driven inside the Hog Pen. Plus other shows like The Hog Trough, The 4-Star Sports Show, and many more coming soon. So check them out today. Go on YouTube.com and search 4-Star Sports Media.
All right, welcome back to the 4-Star Sports Media College Football Pick'em Show. I am your host, Razorback Zach. Wes Pruitt is having audio issues, but I think he's here with us. Wes, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Zach, we've had a pretty good first quarter of the show. So, Zach, talking about offseason 2021, we had some interesting in the offseason. Let's talk a little about what was your hottest storyline from the offseason.
Say that one more time, Wes. Your audio cut out.
What is your hottest storyline from the 2021 offseason?
From the 2021 offseason?
Yeah. What happened in leading up to this season, during the offseason, since the national championship, since Senior Bowl, that has had you most wowed?
Man, there's several to pick from. I mean, you've got Sam Pittman's lifetime contract, literally a lifetime contract. You've got you've got Auburn crashing and burning. No pun intended there. just the amount of transfers, just as a whole, the transfer portal, and the NIL deals that are being signed. If you want to stay home, Celeste kind of hit the nail on the head. If you want to stay home, and for here at Arkansas, Pepsi no longer a product at the University of Arkansas. They brought back Coke, so Hunter Yurachek is now a legend.
Dude, that has Arkansas fans like pumped through the roof up here in Fayetteville.
Oh, let me.
It's
you didn't see the you didn't see the show last night, Wes. I got hammered because I was drinking a Pepsi on the Razorback show. Like I got lit into.
Well, don't be drinking Pepsi, Zach.
I can't help it. Little Caesars doesn't have Pepsi. But no, Wes, the amount of athletes that are in the transfer portal and the NIL deals that were being signed, and then the most fascinating storyline for me involves one team, but two different opponents. That's the University of Alabama. Actually, three different opponents if you think about it. It's the University of Alabama versus the University of Texas, and the University of Alabama versus Texas A&M. And then you've got a little one. I think that one's been squashed. But Nick Saban versus Primetime.
Has it been squashed, though? I mean, let's really.
Is anything with Nick Saban really squashed, though?
But see, here's my thing. I'm on the other side of that coin. Is anything with Deion Sanders ever really squashed? Because he's going to let you know, and he ain't going to let you forget.
Exactly. Celeste Penny wants to know, by the way, Celeste is one of our biggest fans. She's also on staff here at 4star/ITHP. She runs our Twitter page, inside_hog_pin, and does a fantastic job. Her kid River just celebrated a birthday yesterday, so shout out to him. She chimes in and says, does off-season count for baseball? Who's on the spot?
I was referring to specifically college football, but the Arkansas baseball season was fun to watch, and I'm sure that's what she's referring to.
Just wish it would have ended with a title, but that's just me.
So mine, Zach, is you spoke about Auburn University, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Down at the Senior Bowl last February, Senior Bowl Summit, Brian Harsin was there, okay? Well,
okay.
Right about that time, a story broke that there was some intermarital things going on.
Did we ever prove if that was real?
Here, just sit back, listen. I'm all getting there. Okay. So find out after all the dust is settled, it's an actual coup by boosters to get Brian Harsin out at the University of Auburn. Just hear me out, because I kind of want to go on a little rant on this. This pisses me off. First off, what did Brian Harsin do to anybody? The man started out 6-2 on the season, Zach. 6-2.
How? I mean,
what did he do to deserve that? But then you attack the man personally. You attack the man's family. That's the route you go. You
have to also understand the fan base and the boosters and the university that we're talking about.
Well, I mean,
here's the issue. Here's the issue, and people will back me up on this. Okay, Auburn's season hinges on if you can beat Alabama. Okay. Gus Malzahn, for the time that he was at Auburn, Gus Malzahn saved his job year in and year out every time he was able to beat Alabama. Just when people thought that Gus Malzahn was going to lose his job and take an average 8-4 team, he goes to the Iron Bowl and finds a way to beat Alabama and saves his job another year. And so every year, Brian Harsin, I think, they didn't beat Alabama this year. I don't remember.
They lost 24-22.
Okay, so they lost by 2. They found a way to lose that game. And I'm going to say it like that. They found a way to lose the Iron Bowl. That is why the boosters are so pissed off right now. Now, do I condone going after his family? No. That is the dumbest thing ever.
That is so. It's just jacked
That
up,
just
man.
goes, but that just goes to show you the day and age of doing things the right way.
It's a business.
And I say that with air quotes. Is gone. The way we know college, the way you and I grew up on college football.
Done.
Okay, is the game has completely changed. The way things are nowadays has completely changed.
100% right. 100% right. But if I am a Auburn fan, I actually have a, I don't know, it's my cousin's daughter, so whatever that would be. She is a freshman.
Second cousin.
Second cousin. So Paige is now a freshman at Auburn. Beautiful campus. She's really looking forward to it. I wouldn't mind getting down there and watching a game. They say it's a beautiful stadium. You get to watch the Eagle fly in. You know, I know
that's probably the coolest part.
You just have a deep hatred for Auburn. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But when you look,
I do.
Auburn,
it is a deep hatred.
I get it.
Hashtag screw you, Mark Hurls.
But when you look at Auburn, guess what, Zach? They got 7 returning starters on offense, 6 on defense. I mean,
okay, I'm going to stop
Letterman,
you right.
That they only lost 34 Letterman.
I'm going to stop you right there, Wes, and I'm going to pose a question. Okay. You have all these returners coming back, but if you don't have a winning culture, and if you don't have a stable winning culture, so my question to you is this: so what?
I think it's there though.
You can look, Wes, you can have all the talent in the world, okay? But if you have an incompetent head coach and you don't have a stable enough culture.
But I don't think Carson's incompetent at all. That's the thing. That's where I differ in opinion from a lot of other people, especially in the SEC.
He's
a good football coach.
The fan base right now was Arkansas 2 years ago.
But
the Auburn fan base right now is Arkansas 2 years ago. They can't even buy a win.
Now,
Auburn,
the news of TJ Finley, their starting quarterback, getting arrested this morning and then starting camp today, that was not a good idea. If you're TJ Finley, you can't do that. Now, if you're Zach Calzada, right from Texas A&M, Zach Calzada may have himself a starting quarterback job.
Celeste just summed it all up for me. Celeste just did it for me. If you have a team that doesn't matter. You can have all the talent in the world, but if they don't play for each other and they're playing me football, all the talent in the world is not going to get you a win.
They finished 6-7. That's not. I mean, I get it. I get it, but let's not. I mean, I'm not trying to go there, but let's not forget. Before last season, Arkansas effing sucked. I mean, let's just be real about it. I mean,
I'm going to go out on a record here. I'm going to go on record and say, I'm going to go on record here for all of our fans and say, West said he didn't want to go there, and then he went there.
I'm just saying.
Look, we couldn't look in 2018 and 2019. We couldn't buy a win. No. We couldn't. We could not buy. We didn't know how to win. We didn't know how to because the culture wasn't there.
Auburn went 6-6 during the regular season and lost 17-13 to Houston in the Birmingham Bowl last year, which is essentially a home game. But
yeah. So Sam Jones chimes in. I want to bring this dude on the show so bad. Can we bring him like on the brand? Because this dude's got some hot takes, and he makes me look like an idiot. I might just give him my job. No, don't tell him see that. Don't tell him see that. Don't tell him see that. College football has changed as much as we think. What has changed is the transparency of how the business operates. Just like real estate has gone from a buyer's to a seller's market, college football has gone from being controlled by the machine to being a player's market with NIL and transfer portal. Exactly right. Which you're going to see, and Wes, we can get into this at a later date, but you're seeing with the transfer portal the way it is, with the NIL deals that are being signed, you're seeing the slow dismantling of the NCAA as a legislative body.
Yeah. Most definitely. Go ahead. Because we got a coach.
Oh no, I was just
so here's the thing. I mean, when you look at Auburn, that whole thing just stinks to me all the way around with what they did to him. I'm rooting for the guy. Honestly, I'm rooting for the guy. I don't want to say I'm rooting for Auburn because I'm not necessarily rooting for Auburn, but I'm rooting for Brian Harsin to be successful.
Well, and I'll tell you, in order for him to be successful, to satisfy the fan base, to satisfy the boosters, he is going to have a very, 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 very above 500 record, and he's going to have to impress. He's going to have to come out. His offense is going to have to be prolific. They're going to have to put up huge numbers, and they're going to have to put it. You cannot lose to Alabama. Plain and simple. You cannot lose to Alabama. Now, if it's a close one like it was last year, you might get away with it.
Everybody loses to Alabama, though.
But they're not.
I hate that. But I hate that expectation on one team. It's on one game. I mean,
Wes, it's the benchmark right now because Alabama is like Alabama and Georgia. They cannot be stopped right now. Since Nick Saban has taken over Alabama, I have said it day in and day out for 3 years now. Since Nick Saban has taken over at Alabama, the college football playoff, the SEC, all runs through Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and now it's going to be running through Tuscaloosa and or Athens, Georgia. That's just the way it is.
But let's really sit back and think about it. If you're a realistic person and you're a realistic thinking fan, and hell, administration for that matter, let's be honest. How often is Auburn going to beat Alabama? In the last 5 years, they've done it one time.
Okay. That's one time.
Close.
That's one time, though. They haven't. When was the. All right. So you've got the record in front of you, right?
Yeah. That's my point, though.
Okay. Hold on. I'm going to throw you a curveball. And I am being realistic. Because if I wasn't being realistic, I'd say that Arkansas is going to blow out Alabama.
In the last 5 years, they beat them one time by 3 points. They lost by 2. Every other game was in 2020 was 42-13.
That was going to be my question. When was the last time Auburn was actually?
Yeah. And then,
when was the last time Auburn was actually competitive? That's outside of last year.
I'd have to pull up their 40-year history to tell you.
Well, again, and I'm talking 7 points or less
in the Alabama game?
In the Iron Bowl. When was the last time Auburn was truly competitive with Alabama in the Iron Bowl? That's my point. Is Auburn that Auburn fan base hinges.
Let me add it.
His job hinges on if he can compete with Alabama. Period.
He makes my point.
Saban is coming to an end now that everyone can grease palms and purchase Hellcats. He loves Hellcats, dude. I think he owns a Hellcat because you ought to see the play that he drew up last night. Wow.
He's got
purchase Hellcats. What industry does Tuscaloosa have to compete with, even in Arkansas in NIL era, let alone Aggie oil collectives? But see, the thing is, Bama's been doing this. Bama's been doing this long before it was legal.
Yeah.
But Wes, at the same time, though,
Nick Saban sat on the stage at the same summit and said, "Alabama's never paid for a player." The whole room laughed.
Mama didn't raise no dummy.
You own 2 BMW dealerships, and things can happen.
But and again, it goes back to that's a lie. What's a lie? I don't know. They're having their own conversation over here in the comments.
Yeah, they really are. It's like 3 different shows happening right now.
But I love it though. Because they're interacting with us, we're interacting with them, and then they're interacting with each other. So it's a plus all around. But Wes, come on, dude. Look, I've said it since 2007. Okay,
you hate Auburn so bad.
Look.
I know everybody, I get it, man.
All right, I'm gonna stay home for a second. The Arkansas fan base.
Trust Celeste, everybody in that room knew it.
Yeah. So the Arkansas fan base claims that A&M is a rival, LSU is a rival, Missouri is a rival, Ole Miss is a rival. Look, according to the fan base, freaking everybody is a rival. And it's not a rivalry if you can't win. If you can't beat the team, it's not a rivalry. We have not beaten Alabama since 2006 when that kicker couldn't kick the broadside of a barn. I remember that game, too, because it came down to a field goal, and that kid couldn't even kick the chair out from under him. That was a bad joke. I take that back. It's 2022.
Last two times
you can't.
Arkansas beat them, though. They beat them in Fayetteville. That was 2004 and 2006.
What was okay. 2004, 2006. What's the key difference between then and now?
A lot of things.
That's my point. That's my point. That was Mike Shula era, and how many coaches have we gone through versus the University of Alabama? University of Alabama has had one coaching change, and we've had like 5.
I was thinking, why was I thinking Francione was after Shula?
No, I think it was.
Was
there a gap? But
he's the one that got caught with the tripper in his lap. He was a pimp.
Well, there's been a lot of those.
Dennis Francione from Texas A&M. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean,
he
it's the
lasted
same.
as long as George O'Kelly at Notre Dame. Lying bastard. How the hell can you lie on your damn resume? Go ahead.
Or Jack Crow at Arkansas, or John L. Smith.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying. But no, I mean, when you look at the grand scheme of things, when you honestly stop and look at the grand scheme of things, look at the history, and we'll cut it off at the BCS, at the end of the BCS era. Look at the college football playoff picture from its inception until now, and you're gonna see the same 2 freaking teams in every single year. And
it doesn't matter if you expand it or not. You're still going to, because the SEC and the Big Ten, ESPN and Fox are pushing all this money. They're pushing for it. Don't get me wrong. I think Greg Sankey's a great commissioner, but there's a reason Greg Sankey's like, yeah, give me 12 in there, and then I'll make sure my conference has 4 automatic bids, or 6 automatic bids for that matter.
Greg Sankey is a great commissioner. What are you smoking?
What do you mean?
He can't even control his officials. Screw you, Mark Curls.
I mean, I'm just telling you, when you look at the landscape of college football, his voice has.
No, I get it. Well, yeah, because we are the elite. We are the elite program.
Once Oklahoma and Texas comes to the SEC will bring in more revenue as a conference than the entire NCAA does as a whole. And that's when we see the seismic shift of college football.
And that's when you're going to see that's when you're going to see it's going to be the SEC versus everybody else. I mean essentially that's the way it is now. But it's the legislative body. The SEC is going to break off and go, we don't need the NCAA anymore. We're our own power. So screw y'all.
But see, I don't think they will. I think they're still going to want that. Dude, think about how much money is in the playoff system. It's but again, let's circle back to the playoff picture. Okay, what's the one team that is nearly every year in at least in the top 4? Bama.
Who's the other one?
Clemson.
Who's the other one?
Generally Ohio State.
There you go. Since the inception of the college football playoff, those 3 teams have always been at least 3 of them have been in that top 4 spot.
But here's the thing. With the changing of the landscape of college football, and we're going to take a break right after this. And then we're going to jump into the SEC.
Dang it. You're always putting me on the spot. I'm not ever loaded with these things.
But when you look at the world of college football, the Dabo Sweeney, the Nick Sabans of the world, their sticks are up. Their sticks are up, man.
I will say, with Brent Venables leaving Clemson as defensive coordinator and taking over to Oklahoma, Now you're going to see how Clemson really is. And I don't think you're going to see the elite Clemson that we have seen in the college football playoff picture.
They also lost Tony Elliott that went to Virginia.
Yeah, so I don't think you're going to hear a lot about Clemson. I think they're going to fly under the radar for a little bit until they get their feet under them again.
I mean, I'm just telling you, Dabo is. I think he's rubbed some people the wrong way. I don't think it's going to go well for him. But let's take a break right quick. Zach, let's go ahead and jump to break right here on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back to the College Football Pick'em Show on the 4-Star Sports Radio Network. I'm Razorback Zach from inside the Hog Pen here in Central Arkansas, and Wes is out there somewhere in Never Never Land. Wes, are you still there?
I'm in Fayetteville, man. You know where I'm at. Don't play. You know I'm up here in hills now. Up here in NWA, Northwest Arkansas.
All right, settle down.
Beautiful Fayetteville, Arkansas, by the way. I will say that.
So, hey, Wes, speaking of Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
Let me throw that over there. We are going to be broadcasting live from JJ's on Dixon Street the week of the Alabama-Arkansas game. I am going to be there live on location.
Confirmed, but yes, that is the old.
I'll be there. I'll be there regardless. How about that? Even if we're not scheduled to be there, I'll be there. I don't care.
And I may have to come by after the game and visit you as well. Because I will be at the
I will be there. I will find me a shady spot. If we cannot be there on stage, I will be there somewhere on a table broadcasting live all day long. So come hang out, get you some great food, cold drinks. And I was not paid by JJ's to say that. I like JJ's a lot.
No.
But yeah, come by, check it out, hang out with us, watch the game, call the Hogs, all the good stuff. And if you're in the
by the way,
win or lose,
but no matter if they win or lose,
and we'll get that date and time and everything there for you. But I don't know, dude. Like I said, the landscape of college football as a whole. I mean, we go into it every year saying the same thing. Is Alabama's going to be in the college football playoff? Ohio State's going to be in the college football playoff. And I hate Auburn more than I hate Ohio State now. And I have a deep-seated hatred for Ohio State. But my hatred for Auburn goes deeper than that.
No, it's horribly.
It's going to get even worse next basketball season.
Oh, I know. All right, man. So let's talk a little bit about the SEC. SEC Media Days just took place recently in Atlanta, Georgia. There was some incredible sound bites by some coaches, a la Mike Leach, that just walked up to the podium and said, "So who has any questions?" But I tell you what, man, and I put this in an article that I wrote recently. When you look at who I believe. Atlanta, it was Sam Pittman and the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's not a bias. That's an unbiased comment.
Looks like we're losing Wes here. Wes, your audio cut in and out.
When Sam Pittman said, "You're not coming to play for the University of Arkansas. You're coming to play for the state."
Oh,
that's when it. You heard the entire statement.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing about Sam Pittman. is he's not a cliche coach. He's not going to stand out there and he's not going to sit there and he's not going to go, left lane hammer down, never yield, uncommon. We're recruiting uncommon young men. We got that wood. You're not going to hear that from Coach. You're not going to hear that from Sam Pittman. All right, yeah, and I'm being real.
Y'all hate that. Y'all hate that left lane thing. Y'all do. Y'all
okay.
Hate that.
So that was all he was good for, was cliches. Now I will say one thing about Chad Morris is he did give me one of my favorite quotes. And if you don't understand it, it ain't for you. But he comes out and he says, "Greatness is not for the chosen few, but for the few who choose it."
Yeah, no.
And I like that. That's probably the only good thing I can say about Chad Morris. But circling back to Sam Pittman is you're going to find that his culture and the way that he is seen in his players and it's seen on the field. Because you're not – he stands up, and this is what won me over, because when they hired Sam Pittman, I was on the fence. I was like, all right, let's see where this goes, because I trust Hunter Yurachek. I trust the process. It ain't Jeff Long. So let's see what happens. And the more I listened to Coach Pittman and the more that I learned about him, and then even talking to him in person, he is genuinely – he stands up in his introductory press conference when he met with the team, and he goes, "You didn't choose me. I chose you." This man loves the state. He doesn't just love coaching. He loves the state.
You're 100% right.
He loves everything. He loves everything about it. And by the way, I've been watching Hogs Plus. I've been splurging. I go on vacation next week, and I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be watching Hogs Plus all next week. But it chronicles, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. So if you need to go take a drink or something, Wes, go for it.
No, but I do want to break down the SEC here in the next 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll make this quick then. There's nothing about Sam Pittman you can't love. I mean, he brings in two of the best coordinators in the country in Kendall Briles and Barry Odom. Now, Barry Odom, everybody knows, former head coach of the Missouri Tigers, and he's kept them here. They have had multiple opportunities and multiple phone calls to go to these other schools, and they're staying right here. That tells you about the culture, and we say it all the time. That shows you the culture that Sam Pittman has built here at Arkansas. And he's right. You're playing for the name on the front, and you're playing on the name on the back, and you're playing for the guys to the right and left of you. All right, you're not sitting there going, all right, well, you're a scholarship player. You're going to be put on a pedestal, or you're a walk-on. Dude, look at Drew. Look at Grant Morgan. Grant Morgan went from a walk-on to an All-American. It's pretty obvious. Hell, dude, I'm 35 years old, and I want to suit up and run through the A with Sam Pittman, dude. Jeez.
Easy.
I'm gonna pull a hammy. I know. I know. I know.
I could do it. I could do it.
Wes, come on, dude. If I can't do it, I know damn well you can't.
But Zach, when you look at the that's a great point by Samuel Jones about the monkeypox.
Sam Jones chimes in again and says, something not being discussed at all is that the NCAA had better start pumping monkeypox vaccines into players now. If numbers keep rising, how will we avoid a shutdown when the virus is literally passed by skin-to-skin contact? In this case, one monkey can't stop us. It's actually – look, all right. No, I'm not going to go on that tangent. But that's a good song, though, Sam. That's a good song, though, Sam.
Sam is – I'm going to start calling him – he's a punny guy.
I know you didn't just.
He is. He's very funny. Sam, thank you for watching and listening. Celeste, everybody.
Sam, I am so sorry, dude. I don't know what's wrong with Wes.
Let's get to the SEC, man. So when you look at the SEC last year, of course, it came down to Alabama and Georgia in the SEC championship game. Alabama would get the win, as we talked about earlier. Georgia would get the ultimate revenge in the national championship game. Zach, let's talk a little bit about this year. See, people find me too. So, yeah, you need to laugh, damn it. So
trust me, dude, I do that every day when we talk on the phone at lunch. So,
all right, look, man. So let's get to the SEC. So you got Alabama. Who is your surprise team this year?
Arkansas, and it's not just because I'm a homer. I have done extensive research on the SEC right now, and I do not see any.
Zach, you've done extensive research.
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh. Okay. Let me.
I have looked. You act like that's a surprising. Yeah, it is kind of surprising. Not gonna lie, that's kind of surprising. No, I have. Look, I've actually done work on this. Surprise, surprise. I mean, yes, I have some questions in some matchups. More notably, Auburn, Ole Miss, and A&M. That's every year, though. Because those games could go either way. But you're going to have Arkansas at that number 2 spot behind Alabama. Don't be surprised if going into the Arkansas-Alabama game that both teams are undefeated. One of those teams is, and Arkansas is going to give Alabama a run for their money. It's time. All right. It's been damn near 16 years almost since Arkansas has been competitive. I'm not going to say that beat Alabama, but competitive with Alabama. There's nothing wrong with going 9-3 again if you're Arkansas, but I don't see A&M. I don't see A&M being number 2. I don't see Ole Miss being number 2. I don't see it. Man, I think this is the year that
I hope we can get this crap right here. I'm about to say on tape. All right, so I'm about to shock everybody. Go ahead, Zach.
Well, and again, your top 3. I don't see why your top 3 couldn't be Alabama, Arkansas, A&M, and Ole Miss in that order, and then of course everybody else. I don't think Mississippi State's going to be worth a snot in a tissue. I don't think you're going to see anything out of LSU for years to come. Because Brian Kelly's in over his head. Now, I could be completely wrong, and this could just be wishful thinking. But I think your bottom 2 are going to be LSU and Mississippi State.
So you want to hear something crazy?
And that's just in the SEC West. We're not even going to touch the East.
So in the West, I've got Ole Miss winning the West.
All right, I'm going to say this live on air. Effective immediately, I resign from 4-Star Sports Media.
I've got Ole Miss winning the West. I've got Arkansas finishing 2nd. I've got Alabama finishing 3rd. As a matter of fact, it's going to sound crazy. I've got Ole Miss winning the SEC championship.
Okay.
Justin Ashmore's right and says don't sleep on South Carolina. I agree.
Okay, wait. You can't just jump. No,
it's not
no. You cannot just
because Ole Miss won 10 games last year.
You cannot jump from that to the comment section.
Ole Miss has never been in the SEC championship game and won it.
Dude, no. There is no earthly way that Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss are going to go that far. There's no freaking way.
I'm just telling you.
There's no way. There's no way. Ole Miss does not have the talent. Ole Miss does not. Okay, and Arkansas is the defending. Arkansas is the defending national. Arkansas is the defending national champion of the hardest schedule for the 4th year in a row. All right. Every time somebody says Arkansas, you're gonna have, they slap somebody in the. Okay, there's no way.
It's hard. That's my point. Look at their schedule is crap, dude. You got Vanderbilt. You don't play a freaking hard team to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Look. I saw a stat today about Arkansas. All right, you want to know what that stat is?
What is it?
Arkansas is the only team in the entire NCAA that all 12 of their scheduled games are with teams that are either ranked or all the teams played in the postseason. Every single team On our schedule this year.
Yes.
On our schedule
year,
this year. Played in the postseason a year ago. We thrive. Look, and Sam Jones can back me up on this. We thrive on being the underdog.
This is the first time ever that Razorbacks will host 7 home games in Fayetteville, Razorbacks Stadium, including 2 against college football playoff participants.
I think, honest to God, dude, you've got Kendall Briles coming back in his 3rd year. This is the first time that he has had a quarterback, a returning starter at quarterback since he's been a coordinator. Okay. Look at the progression that KJ made from game 1 against Rice, where he struggled, to the Outback Bowl.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt.
All right,
KJ Jefferson
you cannot
continue to grow in that offense.
You cannot convince me that Arkansas is going to have any less than 3 losses at the most.
Why do you think I'm finishing second?
Because I think you're smoking something heavier than weed, but we're not going to go there.
No.
Let me guess, you got Memphis winning the AAC.
No.
Bam.
No. I've got them finishing 3rd, actually.
There.
Yeah. So when you go to the SEC, Zach, what are your predictions? I've already given mine. Who do you have winning each division conference, and then who do you have winning the conference championship in Atlanta?
I've got Georgia in the East. Florida might make a run at it. South Carolina, it's still South Carolina is that wild card right now. South Carolina is the wild card that nobody knows about. Nobody. I mean, they're gonna look like crap on paper, but they might surprise a few people. Now, let's turn our eyes to the University of Kentucky. Mark Stoops has been there doing a hell of a job. However, at some point, that fan base and those boosters, just like at Auburn, aren't just going to want to settle for a bowl bid. They're going to want something a little bit more substantial. And the question is, can Mark Stoops get them over the hump? So there's that. University of Tennessee can burn in hell for all I care. No.
Oh God. Here we go. I thought, never mind. Let me touch. Just
easy. I didn't call them trash. They can just burn. Again, University of Tennessee, another wild card. I see them being middle of the pack. I see Tennessee being middle of the pack. I think your top 3 are going to be Georgia.
That's going to be hard.
Well, I think you're, and again, I hope I'm wrong, because I want to see somebody other than Bama and Georgia in Atlanta, because that's a freaking home game for either one of them.
Yep.
Give me I know this will never happen, but give me an Arkansas South Carolina matchup in Atlanta. Give me 2 teams that haven't won it in forever, or ever for that matter. Give me something other than the same thing every single year. It's like the Patriots every single year for freaking however long.
Whoa, he almost dropped the F-bomb.
I caught myself. I caught it because I would have gotten a tongue lashing after the show.
Yeah. Damn
I'd have got the dog right then.
That's funny.
I'm telling you, man, I'm fired up. But no,
out
of the West. Until I see something different, I'm going to go Alabama. I'm going to play with house money. I'm going to go with Alabama. But in the East, dude, who's going to stop Georgia right now? Out of the East, who's legitimately going to stop Georgia?
I don't know. I don't know that anybody. I mean, here's the thing, though. Georgia lost a lot of that defense. And the question is still going to come back to Stetson Bennett. Nobody gave the kid a chance last year at all, Mr. Flip Phone. And then now the question is going to be, can he do it again? Is he good enough to do it again? Does he have the weapons to do it again? My question is going to be, does he have a defense
That's the key.
Hold teams to 11 points a game again?
That's the key. Is Stetson Bennett was never given a chance. And it was like, and again, I circle back to the Arkansas Razorbacks, but I mean, it's me.
All right, Zach, I hold tight. I love this comment. Over under on condiment sales in Neyland Stadium this season. I'm gonna have to go over on that one, Sam.
I'm gonna take the over too. Don't worry.
By the way, at SEC Media Days, Lane Kiffin signed a bottle of mustard brought to him by a fan, and also Josh Heupel got on stage and said, "Dang, I forgot my golf ball." So there's definitely jabs back and forth. Definite jabs back and forth, man. The SEC last season was very exciting. I think it's going to be very exciting this season as well.
Josh Heupel forgot his golf ball because I have it.
Well, it's got to be yellow. Florida wins East with a competent.
You're never happy.
They still have talent on. That's true. Very good point. It's a very good point. Georgia, I mean, they won the national championship. It's going to be hard. That's still them. You know what I mean? They still start with
I mean, until we start seeing these teams play each other instead of each other on the team, until September 3rd, you're not going to see. We're literally going off of expectations from last year to this year. You're going off of paper or what you're reading on the paper. You're going off of what you're seeing in spring ball. These are all speculation predictions right now.
Yeah.
French's Mustard Neyland Stadium. Oh wow, that's like Mile High. It's like Mile High getting renamed Walmart Stadium.
Yeah. Did you hear how their concessions is? You just check yourself out.
That's funny.
Man, the SEC is an exciting season. It's going to be an exciting season again this year. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to preview
again.
We got two more breaks. We're going to do the AAC conference, and then after that, we'll take a quick break and then preview next week's show. That will include a couple of guests as well.
All right.
And you're listening and watching the 4-Star Sports Media podcast right here on August 4th, 2022, 4-Star Sports Radio Network.
Hey fans, did you know that 4-Star Sports Media now has a YouTube channel? You can catch exclusive content covering all things Memphis Tigers and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Shows like The Point, and the only show on social media about the Arkansas Razorbacks that is purely fan-driven, Inside the Hog Pen. Plus other shows like The Hog Trough, The 4-Star Sports Show, and many more coming soon. So check them out today. Go on YouTube.com and search 4-Star Sports Media.
Back here on 4-Star Radio Network. Let's do it here with Razorbacks. Zach, talking SEC, Zach. Now we're getting ready to talk a little bit of the American Athletic Conference. The SEC Athletic Conference will find out who each other are week 1 up here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, when the Cincinnati Bearcats traveled to the Hill to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks for a first time ever meeting between the two schools. Zach, let's talk AAC, man. It's a conference that's ever changing. This is the last season that this conference will see Cincinnati, Houston, and Central Florida compete. They are moving to the Big 12. Before we get into the conference as a whole, talk a little bit about these three teams leaving the conference.
Well, I mean, when you lose two powerhouses in the Big 12 like Texas and Oklahoma, you're money makers essentially. You're going to have to find somebody to make up for that revenue, and you lose the two big time money makers in that conference. You're going to have to supplement that with four little ones.
Yeah, it's man, it's tough. I mean, obviously, I'm growing up a Memphis Tiger fan. Obviously, I have a little bit of allegiance to them to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Memphis was missed out again on another Power 5 conference as a Tiger fan, and for four Memphis fans, that stings. You know what I'm saying? That does hurt. But with the expansion that we're doing to the stadium and things of that nature, I think we're going to be on the next loop of this. But man, losing Cincinnati going to the Big 12, I think Cincinnati automatically brings a little bit of slack to the Big 12. I mean, let's be honest, between Cincinnati, Houston, and Central Florida, all three of those teams can score points at a pretty prolific pace. Defensively, they're not bad on defense either. Central Florida, maybe not as much. They're getting better under Gus on, better than they were under Josh Heupel. And then you look at Houston, you got Dana Holgorsen. Obviously, everybody should know who that is. Longtime West Virginia coach, offensive guru. Generally, his teams are not the greatest on defense, but Houston did play pretty well on defense last year. And Cincinnati, Luke Fickell. I mean, if you go look at Cincinnati's record, man, when Luke Fickell got there, I think he may have lost like 5 games his first year, and then since then he's lost like 2. I mean, it was just an absolute that team is good. They're solid at every level, offense, defense, special teams. They're well coached. They're well disciplined. Desmond Ritter leaving Cincinnati is a hole. We got Bryant, the backup, who is a good quarterback. Let's not go crazy here. But, Zach, when you talk about this American Athletic Conference, is it a conference that when it's on TV, you watch it because it's exciting football?
I just watch it because it's football. Like I'll stay up on a Saturday night and watch Pac-12 football.
Man, preach.
Like
I love Pac-12 after dark, dude. I love it. And then, man, hey, just wait till the season gets a little deeper and we can get a little action on Tuesday. A little Mac ball, man. That's fun stuff, dude.
I mean,
games.
Yeah, and stuff. I mean, it's one of those that college football is college football. It's the only time of year, and I will say this: it's the only time of year that I will wake up at 8:00 on a Saturday morning, turn on College Game Day or SEC Nation, and leave it on all day.
Yep. Zach, if you had to take a team out of the conference that you would say is your most surprising team from last season and a team that was your most disappointing out of the American, who would it be?
So my most disappointing, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to piss a lot of our fans off. My disappointing team was Memphis. I was expecting them to do a heck of a lot better than what they did. I would love to see them in the Sun Belt. I would. I think.
Memphis?
Do what now?
You say Memphis in the Sun Belt?
Yeah, and I say that because, and it's like moving from one to the other, and I get that.
Geographically, they do fit.
Yeah, but again, geographically, they fit, and they're not. And again, I'm not hating on Memphis. I'm not.
Right. No, I got you.
But they're not to a Power 5 level yet consistency yet.
Are you
Go
sure?
out. Well, I know they've had the highest winning percentage in all of Division One at home for a while.
20 in 2017 home.
Yeah, but let's say they go to the SEC.
Oh, that's never going to happen.
I just go with me here.
I know.
Just go with me, okay? Go to the SEC, you're going to end up like Vanderbilt. They don't have the size, they don't have the speed that
It would be more like a Mississippi State.
they would, where they're going to rattle some cages sometimes. They'll surprise a couple teams.
They
like
may pop up and get them 8-9 wins, but they're going to consistently get 7.
Yeah, and again, in the SEC, that's not bad. You put them in the ACC, they might do okay.
Yeah.
They might do okay. You put them in the Big Ten, they're just going to get slaughtered.
But the Big 12.
The Big 12 is a geographical oddity.
But you know this. We talked about this off air. Geographic means nothing in college football anymore. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, just go talk to the people at I don't know, University of Southern California and UCLA. I mean, they're in the Big Ten now. West Virginia's in the Big 12.
Why West Virginia is not in
at least the ACC? I have no idea. Sam Jones once again chimes in and says Memphis generates enough talent to be Power 5. It's just consumed by SEC schools like Mississippi. Yeah, and I mean geographically, you've got to compete with Arkansas. You got to compete with Missouri, Tennessee.
You're competing with Ole Miss. It's
Ole Miss,
72 miles away. Yeah.
I mean,
everybody. Tennessee mainly. Arkansas.
And it's not like the SEC doesn't have that market already. I mean, no offense to Memphis fans. No offense to Memphis fans. But when you've got literally 3 SEC teams in that region, ish.
College football wise, yes, the SEC rules that part of the country.
Yeah.
NBA wise, obviously the Grizzlies do. In Memphis, I will say this: in Memphis, the Tigers are generating some pretty good team numbers. I will say that.
So you bring up the NBA, and we'll even go NFL for that matter. Give me the next closest NBA team to the Grizzlies.
Probably going to be New Orleans.
Would it be New Orleans, Dallas, Charlotte?
Yeah. Well, no. Charlotte's like damn.
Well, I'm just again
Dallas, and then you'd have Oklahoma City.
Okay. When it comes to the NFL, you've got Tennessee,
Nashville,
you got the Titans in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the next closest team to Tennessee? The Titans, not the Volunteers.
The next one in Dallas.
You got Dallas. Again, you got Carolina.
Carolina's way out there, though.
Again, I'm just making a point.
I'll just say. Yeah. That's like saying you got Vegas.
I mean, if you want to go play in the giant Roomba, go for it.
Hey, that thing looks cool playing, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Jerry did it first. But no, I mean,
it's
not like the
Cowboys.
I hate you. It's not like it's not.
It's gone completely off the freaking rails, by the way.
That's how we do it. And this is what happens when you put me and you on the same show. I mean, it
happens, man.
Trust me, you should have seen me and MC last night.
We got about 10 minutes left, folks. Don't freak. We're not going to go all night.
I don't know about that. Not with your audio issues, we're not. No, I mean, circling back to it, geographically doesn't mean crap. No. But you have to look at it as, okay, where can Memphis fit where they're not going to get curb stomped every season? And I'm not saying every week. I'm talking every season as a whole. Because Memphis fans, and with you being one of them, you can't sit there and tell me that 6-6, 7-5, the 8-4 is okay.
6-6 is not the standard. I think the standard for Memphis football on a year-to-year basis, and a lot of fans, both big psycho fans and not psycho fans, because every fan base has them. Most of them will disagree with this. I think, in my opinion, that the standard for Memphis football should be 7 to 8 wins a year. If you have an extra year where you get 9 or 10, you end up back in the Cotton Bowl, cool beans. Other than that, 7 to 8 wins, I think, in my opinion, is about where Memphis should be a year. 8, my opinion, should be about 8. There's nothing wrong with that.
And that's doable, but can it be done in the current landscape of the American Athletic?
Yes.
Okay. So now that you have, and this is an interesting point, and I know we're running short on time, but this is an interesting point too. Now that you have Cincinnati leaving, now that you have Houston leaving, that opens the door for Memphis to be the top of the American Athletic. Does it not?
The only team that you're going to hear the big media guys, and I agree. I mean, they got a great quarterback. SMU is got some hype behind them this year in the American, man. They're picked to finish, I believe, second by the media this year, second or third. Memphis was picked to finish 5th by the media at the virtual media days, which the American Athletic Conference is stupid for doing that. You're the only conference in the country that does it virtually. Like, seriously.
I didn't catch any of what you just said, by the way.
Okay, sorry. We say balls and Benny's being screaming. We've got losing. Yeah, man. It's. I mean, SMU's got some hype this year. I think. Yeah, I do. I agree. I mean, Cincinnati leaves, Houston leaves, Central Florida leaves. If you look at Memphis historically, the rest of the teams, East Carolina, SMU, Tulsa, Tulane, South Florida, Navy, Temple, and then you bring in Old Dominion, you bring in Charlotte, and you bring in somebody else.
There is. I'm gonna say this, Wes. There is zero reasons why Memphis should not be in the conversation to win the American this season, because of the teams that you wrap of the team. Well, not this season, but in the future. Forward, because here's why. None of those teams, as it stands right now, none of those teams pop out at me and go, "That's a team to watch. That's the team to beat."
The only one out of those I would say might be SMU, like I said a minute ago. I mean, if you go back,
but at this point in time,
history of Memphis, we've slaughtered every one of these teams.
Exactly. That's my point. Is that tell me one team that Memphis is going to go, that one's an iffy one. Okay.
For some reason, Memphis has problems with Temple. I don't know why we have issues with them.
Yeah, that's weird to have.
When you look at the 6-6 season last year's we lose to East Carolina in overtime. That could very well have been a win. Lose to UTSA on the last second field goal. That could have very well been a win. Should have been a win. And we were up at 21 points. You're in a dogfight with Arkansas State at the beginning of the year. You get the win. I mean, you're looking at that's 2 or 3. When you get 2-3 extra wins, you're looking at 9-4 on the season.
Plus a bowl bid if you get one.
Well, hopefully at 9-4 you go to sides of Hawaii that doesn't cancel because the University of Hawaii had COVID the whole freaking time, and they accepted the bowl bid knowing they couldn't play the game. Memphis is the Hawaii Bowl champions of last year, and TCU same way. And he's exactly right. If
so
get basketball one, Memphis should absolutely run the American.
All right, so wrap it up here. I'm going to turn the tables here and I'm going to ask you a question. Give me your national champion.
Holy crap.
It's not so fun now, is it?
Shit, man.
You've been putting me on the spot with these breaks all night. It's my turn, damn it.
Let's see, man. Who's my now? Do you want me to give you my playoff and then national champion?
No, save the playoff for later when the rest of the guys show up.
Man.
I'll give you mine, Georgia. Until I see something different. That might
limb on that one, didn't you?
That might change, right? That might change come week 6. Because that's the midpoint of the season. But
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say
No, Sam. No, Sam. No, no, no. And Wes, no. I swear,
he's right.
either one.
He's
No,
right.
no, he's not.
Yes,
Not.
he is.
He's no.
And I'll tell you why, Zach. Because
I don't give a damn why. I don't want him to win.
You brought in I'll say it. This is not going to be popular. I said it earlier. I've had hot takes all night. Ohio State wins the national championship. Sam is exactly right. The main part of that being you've got C.J. Stroud coming back, plenty of talent, offense, defense, all that, blah, blah, blah. But you bring in the Oklahoma State defensive coordinator, who is probably the best. Maybe him and Brent Venables were about tit for tat, in my opinion. Best defensive coordinator in the country who knows how to play defense, knows how to stop people, because Ohio State could not stop anyone last year. They couldn't hold water. And I'm telling you, they're gonna win the national championship.
No, I don't want it. No.
Just telling you. Ryan Day's a hell of a football coach.
Nope.
Nobody wants to admit it because everybody, Ryan Day was just piggybacking off such and such. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Ohio State's going to win that championship. Now, the playoff is going to be fun. That's going to be interesting. Zach, we've had a hell of a lot of fun tonight, dude. At least I have.
I have when I can hear you. We got to get your internet figured out. Figure out why you carry over, man. You sound like somebody. Like the Verizon commercial.
Look, Zach,
can you hear me now? How about now?
Next week, right here on Thursday night, we're going to have two guests. We'll be breaking down the ACC and the Big 12 conference. We will have Tony Siracusa from Last Word on Sports to break down the ACC, and then we will have. Hold tight 1 second. His name just slipped my mind. My bad. We will have Jason Ray from the Last Word on Sports to talk Big 12. Last Word on Sports. Okay. Jason covers Texas Tech very judiciously, and is a Big 12 insider. So he knows all about it from front to back, side to side. So yeah, we'll have those two guys on next week to break down the ACC and the Big 12 for all you guys. But the plan is to break down two conferences every week leading up to week 0, and that's when we dive into the games. All of our Heritage Fence offensive defensive players of the week. Sam, I hope you're listening. Our Heritage Fence on the Fence game of the week, coined by Samuel Jones. I will make sure we add that to give him credit. But yeah,
I think we should bring him on. Hey, Wes, I think we ought to bring him on and let him have that.
Let's do it. I got no problem with it, dude. I'm all about it. So, Sam, if you're still watching, man, hey.
Sam's over here going, dude, I didn't sign up for this.
Why did I catch this live stream? Now they want me on all the time.
Hey, I'm the president CEO of the brand. If you want to come on, holler at Zach. We'll get you on, man.
I've already beat you to it. He's coming on my show first.
That's fine. Well,
I've got to get off here because I'm losing my mind.
Guess what? If he comes on your show, it's still on my brand.
Shut up, Wes. It's like that line from Tommy. It's like Tommy Boy. Shut up, Richard.
Yep. Yeah, hope everyone watching and listening tonight has had a good time. Zach and I have a good time talking college football, man. We're excited.
What are you talking about? We always have a good time. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, college football season is back. It's starting up in just under a month. We will have a Northwestern and Nebraska game over in Ireland before the season starts. But anyway, yeah. But next week, 7 p.m. right here at Facebook 4-Star Sports Media, YouTube 4-Star Sports Media, and of course on our website 4star.live.
Hey, real quick for those still watching, a little game update. The Hall of Fame game, or what I like to call Snooze Fest 2022. Las Vegas Raiders and the Jacksonville Jaguars in Canton for the Hall of Fame game. 4:39 to go in the second. I'm sorry. And it is sorry, once again. Las Vegas 13, Jacksonville 0.
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
You got a barn burner going on.
Barn burner.
But yeah, once again for Razor.
Sorry, I fell asleep. Sorry.
Thank you to everybody watching and listening on the 4 Star Sports Radio Network. And we will be back next week, 7 p.m. Thanks, guys.